What's up, everybody? I'm Patrick Shawn. I'm an artist in Montgomery, Alabama, and in this video, I'm gonna be working on a new painting, and along the way, I'm gonna share my tips on how I defeat creative blocks and pick new painting projects. The greatest tool against a creative block is gonna be your own imagination. So what you can try to do is trigger that by looking at someone else's artwork. You can try reading a good book, think about a favorite TV show, or even a crazy idea that pops in your head at 3 a.m. while you can't sleep. Now, I don't sketch things out like most artists. I've tried looking through tutorials and how-tos, but I just never seem to pick up on the techniques that they're using. What I do is I usually have a reference close by, and I do a lot of erasing. Everything that I've done up to this point has been self-taught from watching others and trying things out to see what works best for me. While looking at Pinterest, I saw a lot of astronauts and Vikings, and that seemed like that would be really fun to mash together. So for this project, I'm gonna be working on a Viking astronaut. I paint on anything, so another tip that can help with a creative block is to choose what to paint on before you do anything else. Sometimes the shape of an object can inspire or trigger an idea for you. The sketch paper that I'm using is 9 by 12, so I'm gonna use the same size wood panel. This way, I'm not gonna have to bring my sketch into Procreate and rework it. I'll be able to transfer directly onto the wood panel. Since we're painting an astronaut Viking, I'm going to do a simple space landscape for the background, and I'll use spray paint, which will be quick and easy. Now that I've got my background painted and it's dry, I can transfer my sketch onto the wood panel. I go with a wood panel. There we go. All right, my transfer is done, so now we can get started painting. If you follow this channel, then you already know that when I use spray paint for the background of my painting, I paint a layer of white over my transfer so I don't have any issues with the background bleeding through and I can see my lines. If you don't follow this channel, now you know that when I use spray paint for the background of my painting, I paint white over my transfer so I don't have any issues with the background bleeding through and I can see my lines. For this project, a lot of this sketch was influenced by referencing different images of astronauts and also referencing a few pictures of Viking armor. But since I didn't bring this image into Procreate, I wasn't able to play with the colors and contrast before painting. So I did have a little bit of trouble figuring out which colors were going to work best for this character. Well, I wasn't able to get a lot of painting done, but it's getting pretty late, so I'm gonna go to bed and I'll jump back on this first thing in the morning. All right, 6 a.m., very early start to the day. I'm gonna jump right back into painting and we're gonna get this thing finished up. The best advice that I could give anyone to get through a creative block is to just do the work. Whatever your project is, the best way forward is to work on it. If I have a creative block, I start drawing, and even if that drawing doesn't fit whatever project I'm currently working on, I'll still end up getting inspired. Also, if it doesn't work for my project, I'll have a sketch that I can fall back on whenever I need it. So if you don't know what to do, just work on something until the pieces start to fall into place, or until it gives you the next great idea. And that doesn't just apply to painting and drawing. With anything creative, our biggest hurdle is to just get started. It's easier to stare at a project, procrastinate, and put it off, telling ourselves that we have a creative block because it's easier for us to accept that than to say that we're worried we're gonna mess it up. Just get started. Make mistakes if you have to. Start over, because you don't get better by thinking about doing something. I wanted the astronaut suit and shield to look like it was enchanted, so I blended different shades of my colors to make it look like it was glowing. Got something new. Excuse me. Oh, that's awesome. Oh my God, that looks so good. Sweet. Just a little hat with my logo. Freaking awesome. Oh, that's so awesome. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's get back to painting. Another tip would be to work on something creative while you have a creative block. It's like whenever you're working on any kind of problem. You're trying to think of the solution, but you've been working on it for too long, so you're just burning yourself out. The best thing to do in these moments is to walk away and work on something else for a while. Then suddenly the idea you've been looking for comes to you. The only difference with art is that you should be working on something creative or art related. What I've noticed about myself is whenever I have a creative block and I start working on something else, if it's not art related, it won't inspire me and it turns into procrastination. One task turns into another one over and over and over, and next thing you know, I've gone all day without doing any artwork because subconsciously I've been avoiding my creative block rather than facing it. So to break through a creative block, you should be doing something creative that relaxes you. One thing I really struggled with on this painting was trying to figure out how I was going to paint the airlines for his helmet. I didn't want colors to clash or look like it doesn't belong, so I followed my own advice and worked on different parts of the painting while thinking about the best way to paint those airlines. After a while, I figured the best thing to do for this character would be to paint them as if they're clear. So I used a lighter shade of colors where the airlines would be, and then went back over it with mixing white to make it look as if the light's reflecting off of them. And that's it. I thought it would take longer to talk about creative blocks or that I would have more to say about it, but for me, they're pretty simple. Find something similar to what you want to do, let it inspire you, and then work through it. I really like putting symbols in my original paintings, so for this astronaut, I wanted to use Viking runes on his shield. The runes that I chose to put on his shield stand for strength, defense, protection, the warrior, and the self. I also decided to sneak my logo onto his shoulder patch. With everything painted, blended, and signed, this painting is done. So let's take a few final shots. Alright guys, that's it for this painting. It is finished and available on my website at pdsean.com. While you're there, also check out some of my other merchandise or commission your very own painting. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons. You guys are incredible. Thank you guys so much for helping to support my channel. If you want to support me also, go to patreon.com/pdsean, where you can get behind the scenes, exclusive content, merchandise only available to patrons, and lots more. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys next time.